lots of programs are getting up and running, and you know, I think it's you know, great that we've been able to come out tonight to, I guess, not only find out about, you know, important information about Academy and school program, and you know, the sharing of that information, but I think also sort of you know, the building of the relationship between home and academy and school is really sort of a foundation that is important to the success of our students, and you know, and I think that you know, symbolically, it's really key that you're here tonight. So I'd like to thank you for your participation there. We have, as is the sort of custom at in our school district, we want to acknowledge that South Delta Secondary is on the traditional territory of the Tsawwassen First Nation and Musqueam, and all the Coast Salish peoples who have been stewards of this land since time immemorial. Okay, so again, you know, I'm happy to welcome you here tonight, and I'll be around to answer any questions. Also put in a plug for next week. Next Thursday night is our Meet the Teacher night. So if you're able to make it that night, it'll give you an opportunity to follow your student schedules and be able to meet the teachers, hear about some of the expectations, and put a name to a face and so on. So again, thank you for coming. I'm going to turn it over to Ian Gallagher.
Thanks very much, Terry. Just to follow up a little bit on Terry's message there, I had 4 kids. We moved here in 2004, many of you know. My last child graduated last year. This is the community I live in. This is a school in our neighborhood, and it's very important for us that we maintain the best relationship possible so that we keep the, you know, the potential of an outstanding education, which is offered by not just South Delta, but the district as a whole. So thanks very much, Terry. Tonight, the purpose, once we've met in our individual groups, is just to go through the startup process, answer any questions that you may have about what's happened already or what's going to be happening in the near future, just to set the tone for our program throughout the year here. Tonight, very quickly, we'll just introduce our collective team, set the expectations for our athletes, obviously deal with our academic responsibilities and potentials, speak of our athletic programming, and then mention some of the new additions to our program. You know, in the past, we've had a mission statement. If you look at the mission statement for the Delta School District, and really what we live and preach every day, we're just trying to, using hockey as a vice, work our students and our players towards their maximum potential. So, you know, we often look and we compare ourselves to other individuals, but we're going to take some measurements and have some conversations about where your student athlete's at currently. And by the end of this year's experience, our objective is that they've got a lot closer to their potential. That's a lifelong endeavor. This is a 10-month program, and we're just going to be, to the best of our ability, contributors towards that growth. Introducing our staff, I mean, we all know our coaches, and we could go through individuals on our teams, and that's what the purpose of the first hour was. Some key individuals that are with us tonight. Academically, Tamara Jobke, who we know is standing down here. We'll meet Tamara later. New to our program is Elisa Glennon. Tamara is working in a half-time capacity, but we know we'll get full-time commitment from her. Elisa's here to help lessen her load. Back this year, after a year's absence, and they're introduced to our new son Arlo, is Jack Friesen with our English department. Kate, without doubt, the toughest person in our program, is our social educator. Corey Robertson, who many of you don't know, but she does a lot to actually accommodate our academic needs. is the grade coordinator, or the student data coordinator at the school. And the academic person working underneath Terry is Kevin Vasquez. And Kevin comes out to our facility 1 to 2 times per month. So those are our contact people for our group. Inside DHA, we all know that I call Scott May OHA May now, so he's gone. We've got, lucky for us, Owen Piggin stepped into the business director's role. Owen comes with us with lots of experience in the game, but a tremendous amount of experience working with Farmer Safe, and has done a fantastic job setting the tone for communication and building our lines of really functionality here. So really welcome, Owen. And everybody else should be quite familiar with Kate and Brittany. They are our 2 literally office managers with more responsibilities than is on that sheet there. New to us is Dave Chizowski, who is going to try to sell and to brand our program so that our dollars don't have to come as much from our participants, but we can actually generate some from the business community. And then Ron McIntyre, who spent the first week with us working with our coaches, helping them in the selection and the building of our leadership program. Last year, we constructed on site was our Delta High Performance Clinic there, and inside of there we've got, again, just more potentials to assist and help us in our mission statement of maximizing potentials of our athletes there. We all know Chris. Chris is going to continue in his capacity as our mental performance coach. New to our program this year, we've had to secure the services of a full-time athletic therapist. So Aisha is in that clinic and is basically managing all injury and wellness issues that happen between competitions and return to programming on site. Brett Willows is a partner of Brittany, but he's our active on-site physiotherapist, and Jordan McKenzie, the strength coach. So those are key peoples in our program. Every opportunity I get the chance to talk about DHA, this is what we are. This is what we do. Those first 2 are they're non-negotiable. Hard work is what we expect, and I can assure you that that's what your kids do. They have a lot of challenges every day. Some of them are athletic, most of them are academic, and all of them are social. And if they're not putting effort towards those 3 entities, they're not going to have a successful and enjoyable time inside of our program. Honesty is something that I feel is really important in communication. And if given the opportunity to talk about a perspective on a student athlete at a time, then it's inherent on all of us to just act honestly and behave in a way that is working towards solution-based behaviors. We could certainly communicate what the problems are, but we're interested in solutions. So speaking honesty is important to that. The rest of those are things that we hope to emanate. We don't necessarily live up to them every day. We're all human beings. I know that we've got a tremendous collection of coaches. The educators provided by South Delta care as much as any educator that I've ever experienced in my 30 years working with young people in school programs there. And the people inside of our medical clinic just come with such a wealth of knowledge and experience that I think we're just working every year at creating a place for kids to come and again work towards those potentials. Every year we have a theme, and I can tell you this is very simple, and it's a very straightforward word for our kids, and it is revolved around discipline. And there's lots of indicators. There's indicators in our locker room about how they treat our space that we're in. There's indicators on buses. There's messaging that comes from the school in relation to their activities inside the classroom. There's messages that come from the community. And if we get indications that our individuals are acting in ways that lack that sort of discipline, then we are we're I believe employed to help your student athlete make best choices, and making those best choices often means that they need to focus on a particular need, and that need will often overlap the need to be on the ice and with their team. So if we have a need to reinforce discipline, we're going to support that in the ways that the people interacting with them recommend. So Mr. Ainge is here. He's in charge of not just our 150 kids, but they've got a population over 1,500 students inside the school. And if we're not good members of that school community, we're going to fix it. And that's a message that we've sent all our players. And I just want to reiterate that to everybody present and everybody watching at home, that that's our theme for the year. And I know that we have the people to act fairly and honestly and in the best interest of kids, and I know the parents that we have are going to support them. So discipline, penalty minutes in games, types of penalties that we take, the length of shift that you play, that you manage to stay on the ice. Do you do what the coach asked you to do, even if it works against a particular objective that you have in regards to your particular imprint on the game? That's ultimately what we're going to use to set the tone for this year. Our student-athlete model starts ultimately with our facility, and they're focused on 3 different mediums: the academic, the athletic, and the community involvement. All 3 of those are the places that we're expecting our athletes to be working towards the best version of themselves. So on their team, you're certainly going to have certain attributes. Be the best version of that attribute that the coach is asking you to do. Athletically, we're not all A students, we're not all B students, but we certainly have an academic history, and we should have academic goals. So those academic goals have to be something that we're reaching up. So if you're in that particular classroom, and there's an opportunity for you to be a better achiever, expect you to take advantage of that. And then in the community, we're not just in the rinks and at the school. We're walking around in spaces around here. We're traveling to hotels and buses, and we carry representation of a program. And that expectation is that we can trust that our athletes are going to behave in a way that we know is right, and we know the difference between right and wrong. I'm going to hand the mic over to Tamara, but before I step down, I'll be back up shortly at the end. This may seem as though it's heavy-handed and it's direct, but I don't want to leave without a true appreciation for how invested you are as families, and I really thank you for that particular investment. And it's much more than financial. This is an emotional investment that you're making with your child, and I want to do everything we can inside our program to support that emotional investment. So thank you for trusting me with your student athlete.
Good evening. Elise and I would like to just fill you in on our role as education advisors. What we do is we support your son or daughter and liaise between the teachers that are at the rink, Jackie and Kate, as well as the teachers back here at SDSS. We like to hold our student athletes to a high standard of academic standing. So just to give you a little bit of information of the standards that we have at SDSS and that we're trying to encourage with our student athletes at DHA. So to get on the principal's list, you're going to need 92% in 6 of your 8 courses. 2 of those we can throw out, so they take the top 6. Honor roll is 83% or higher in the best 6 of 8 of your courses. If you have less than 5 courses, unfortunately, you're not eligible for making the honor roll at SDSS or with us with the CSSHL. English and social studies online courses, they are accredited towards principal's list and honor roll. However, if you're taking math online, or another course other than the English or social studies, those do not count towards your accreditation towards principal's list or honor roll. G Club. What is the G Club? It is work habits. So attaining a G in all of your courses across the board will get you on the G Club. And the CSSHL, we have a top academic award for every group that is in the CSSHL. So that is done by all the teams across the board. The player with the top percentage from each team will be able to make that top award for the CSSHL. Right now, I'm part of a committee with the CSSHL so that we're trying to establish a GPA that you need across the board. We're one of the few schools that is in a linear system. Some of the other schools are, most of the other schools are a semester system. And quite often they're asking us to report our grades at a time when the semester school is finished, but we are not quite there yet. So we're just working through that throughout the year on how we can attain some standards across the board for all the teams in the league. Just to give you an idea of what we accomplished, term one last year, we had 91 honor roll students and 24 were on the principal's list. And we like to run a little competition between our teams in the DHA, and this is what we looked like last year for term one. So that being said, I'd like to reiterate that we'd like to hold our student athletes to a high standard of accomplishment. We are here to support your student, the student athletes, your son or daughter. Many of you have emailed myself or Elisa, and we encourage you to do that, but we'd also like to encourage you to get your son or daughter to approach the teacher. The teachers like it if they approach them first if they have a concern, and then they can come to Elisa or I if they feel that things aren't working out for them. We can maybe help them. Other than that, I think that's about all I have to say. Lisa, have anything to add? Okay. Next we have Jackie coming up. Kate's not here tonight to talk about the online courses.
Hi everyone, my name is Jackie Friesen. First of all, welcome to the Equinox Theatre. It is Kate and myself second home. We're two of the theatre teachers here, so shameless plug, Rock of Ages, see you in February. All right, so I am the English part of the equation and Kate Prefontaine is the social studies teacher. Just want to talk about a couple of things. There's some information sheets in the front if you want to collect them, the same ones that the students received last week. So scheduling and attendance. It's a pretty awesome situation that we have at the Delta Hockey Academy, but it takes some rejigging. So every summer, Kate, myself, and alongside Tamara and Elisa, and this year Owen as well, we get together in the summertime and we look at all 125, 50 kids' schedules, all individual schedules, and we try to accommodate the fact that we have 4 ice times, 4 sheets of ice. We've got 1 gym, we've got 2 classrooms, we have some grade 12 students that need to be back for the second block, we've got some grade 8 kids that need to be back in the second block, we've also got French immersion students that need to be in the second block, and our 2 girls teams, as well as some of their teams, have mixed grades. So that means a really, really rough game of Sudoku in the middle of July. So it's tough, and brutal honesty is not every student is accommodated. We do our best to make sure that every student is accommodated and get us as a teacher and all the English 11s are in English 11 class, but sometimes it just doesn't happen. We try our best, but with that we need a little grace because again it's hard, and again we're doing our best. We have some really amazing students when it comes to the academics, and a lot of these students are come up on their own. They come and ask for help, and I've got some students. I've got one student who is in English 11 and I will never see her, because she is here, back at the school, or they got French immersion or what have you, and she's emailing me, and she's gonna do the course anyway, and she talks to me whenever she can, and it's gonna be fine, okay? So again, with 150 plus students, all these different equations, it's difficult, but we are doing the best for your kids. Attendance. So because of the time commitments that your children have with the travel schedule and what have you, Kate and I gifted them a flex day on Monday. So on Monday, your kids have a giant flex day at the rink where they are able to work on our courses, but as well as the courses that they've missed because of tournaments and what have you. So they use that time, but that means that time has been taken away from us, myself and Kate at the rink. So attendance is really important because we only get that limited amount of time. So last year and a couple years before this, they only had about 15 minutes to get from locker room to classroom. And even in that time, putting into consideration the goalies who have more equipment to take off and what have you, were still making it to class on time. But there's a lot of people that were not. So this year, Owen, in his absolute wisdom and genius, has gifted an extra 15 minutes. So the kids now have half an hour to get from the locker room to class. So if your student is marked late, there's a problem, okay? So please keep that in mind. We start right at the time we take the attendance and we move on because we need to use every second available. So if your student is marked late, it's because they could make it from the downstairs, upstairs in half an hour. So please keep that in mind. Reporting. So with the way it goes with the government and the school district, if your student is in grade 8 or 9, they are officially claimed as a self-Delta student. Okay, so in the books, they are a self-Delta student. Okay, from 10 to 12, this is just the courses that we have at the rink, English and Social Studies, you are officially a Delta Access student. Okay, what this means is that when it comes to report cards, if you are a grade 8 or grade 9 student taking grade 8 or grade 9 classes with us at the rink, your report cards and your grades will be on Student Connect and Parent Connect, and you can see them online from Self-Delta. But that also means that if you're taking a 10, 11, 12 course with us at the rink, your Delta Access, your grades will be posted through the Delta Access website. So if you're grade 10, 11, 12, and you look at your report card for term 1 and you don't say English or socials, that's why. Okay, it's on the Delta Access. Okay? Checking in on Moodle. So with our courses at the rink, okay, Kate and I are not posting information on Parent Connect. Okay, we're not like regular teachers in that sense. Okay, we don't have the available time to do things twice. And what I mean by that is all your students are using Moodle. Moodle is an online website, and this is the really awesome thing about this. Take your kids' username and login information, and at any time, like you could do it right now, you can look online to their course and you can see what's going to be done that unit. You can see what they've handed in, when they've handed in. You can see our feedback on the assignment. You can see their grades live as it is at any time. So for Parent Connect, all you get is the assignment and the final grade. With Moodle, you get all the information. It's all there. Okay? So if you're looking for that kind of information, it's not going to be on Parent Connect because we're not going to post stuff on Moodle and then post it on Parent Connect. Just look at Moodle and you've got even more information than you possibly could need. Okay? Blended online classes. So in the first year of doing this, Kate and I were doing courses basically completely online. Then the last 2 summers, Kate and I have completely overhauled the system. We basically took the courses, said, okay, I don't like this assignment, threw it out. Okay? Because these are basic courses that are hand delivered to us, and we tweak it with what we see fit. So we take the extra time in the summertime to upload our own material. So these courses are truly our own, and we're going through this course material with your kids. What that means is quality assignments. What's really big for Kate and myself is not just the academic side, but helping to raise solid and wonderful human beings. So we're doing really great quality assignments. Your kids, for English, are currently working on Operation Canadian Soldier Letters. It's an initiative I started a couple years back, and your kids are actually writing letters to Canadian soldiers, and they are being sent overseas. I don't know what a better assignment could be this year. Okay? They're going to learn how to write an actual thank you note in October and send it to a teacher in the school. You know, they're doing a family tree project for social studies. They're learning about world religions. So they're learning about some really wonderful quality things that Kate and I have literally hand-plucked and put into their courses for them. After March break and the playoffs, this is kind of big for us. We know that with the March break and the playoffs time, a lot of the students who are billeting want to go home. We get it. You want to go home, you want to see your family, some of the grade 12, you want to graduate with your peers, we get it, okay? The problem is that, especially for certain courses that we have had done, not everything now is online. So you're not able to go home and do our work online from back home in Trail or wherever you're from, okay? Because what that means is I have a whole term from March until June where I need to give you a course mark. So sometimes in that situation or scenario, I might have to give you a huge project to complete on your own. So if you can stay here, great. If not, please don't ghost us. Let us know. You actually have to, unregister from South Delta and register back at home. So please think about what you want to do, be proactive, make those choices, and let us know so we can help you. Okay, some courses you will be able to do at home a little bit easier, but some courses, English 9 for me, okay, it's going to be really rough. You're going to have to do a big project to make up that quantity of curriculum. Okay. Work habits. Just briefly want to go over this. G, S, and N, okay, good work habit, satisfactory work habit needs improvement. S does not mean suck. You do not suck, okay? Great does not mean super fantabulazo, okay? What this means for us, personally for Kate and myself, okay, the G student is going above and beyond. They're raising their hand. They're getting involved in the classwork. They are never late, okay? They are never missing unless it's legit reason for obvious reasons, okay? They are never handing an assignment late, okay? That is going above and beyond, okay? Satisfactory does not mean that they are awful. It just means that maybe they were late once or twice, okay? Maybe they missed 1 or 2 assignments. It does not mean that they are awful. It just means satisfactory. It's okay, okay? Room for improvement. Okay, we just want to make sure you understand that. And the plagiarism policy, okay? So plagiarism for Kate and myself, okay, and this is a policy that is also mandated by South Delta as well. It's in the academic handbook when it comes to the school. Plagiarism, collusion, working on the same assignment, handing in everything's in the same words or what have you, okay? It's a 0 for all parties involved, okay, innocent or otherwise, and we have told all the students multiple times, do not share your work with anybody else, okay? If some people get desperate, it happens, okay? Just don't hand your work to anybody, okay? Be the good teammate and let the other person learn. If by chance it happens, because you know what, people are innocent, things happen, whatever. The 0 stands until Kate or myself can provide you a new way to show us that you've learned the material. That means more work on our end, and if it's the time when the musical is happening, we're busy. So that new project, to show that you understand the Vikings, or whatever it happens to be, is going to be in our timetable, okay, when we can make the project and when we can mark it. So again, we emphasize to the students, we want the parents, we want you guys on board doing original work, okay, doing it the right way. And last but not least, this is huge for Kate and myself, okay, advocacy, okay. I know you love your kids, I know I love my kid. When it comes to certain things, if any of your kids have issues, okay, with anything to do with the material and what have you, I ask you, I beg of you, if they come to you, tell them, did you talk to Ms. Friesen or Ms. Preem? If the answer is no, send them to us. I don't bite, Kate does, but not too hard, okay? Send them to us, we have an open door policy, email, what have you. We encourage the kids come talk to us first, okay? And then if for some reason hell freezes over and we become, nuts and say no and slam the door in your kid's face, then email me, okay? But please, we love your kids. We want to, see them succeed. Okay, we have their back. Okay, we're doing everything we can to make, classes and everything exciting. We want to see them succeed. We get it. Okay, so please send your kids to us. Have them advocate for themselves. That's what we want, and that adds to the work habit for us. So again, thank you so much for coming tonight. It means a lot for everyone to be here. Thank you all the parents, and probably Kate. Kate's right now doing a play right now downtown, so hi Kate, you're probably watching backstage. Okay, thank you so much for coming and supporting us, support your kids. So thank you so much.
tell the fine arts teacher.
Jazz hands.
Yeah. Real quickly, just in case anybody is needs some clarification on our program this year. That's the league we play in, except our U16 team. We've got a full, unique experience for our newly formed group at that level, which will be interlocking with exhibition play, but all other teams will be playing in the league and working towards a championship. Our 16 team is 100% focused on developing and winning every day, and winning the games they play, and competing in the events they're in. But one thing's very consistent about all our programs, they're developmentally based. We want our kids to get ready for the next coach. New to our program this year, we've got a housing site for communication. All our players have been given access to a Coach Me Plus app, and that is a housing site for communication and the charting of growth of our athletes and current scores of our athletes. So our athletes every day will come in and they're commenting on a wellness questionnaire. That wellness questionnaire sends a message to Jordan McKenzie, our coach, that they can look into and see what their eating habits are, what their sleeping habits are. There's also places that they could actually indicate injuries that they have. If they do have injuries, Jordan himself will be geared towards directing that person, that athlete, towards an appropriate health practitioner inside of our facility. A lot of times kids will not necessarily communicate, and we have to look visually in terms of how they're acting or how they're behaving. This is giving them another tool to use to communicate about their current state and condition, and sometimes it's educational for them. Man, I didn't eat breakfast today, or no, I didn't sleep very much last night, or boy, oh boy, I'm not able to move as well. So we can use that information to make best choices, and that's one of the reasons why we put the clinic in place there, and it's another reason for us to use technology that are available. So this is new to us. It's going to have multiple applications in there. We will have a system in there which coaches will be commenting on players and communication of their performance on a 1 to 4 after a game. The only score which is below average is a 1. A 2 would be an average, a 3 is above average, and a 4 would be exceptional. So over time, we have been appointing grades and accomplishments to our players, and we needed a way for our coaches to historically comment on players as they worked in their competitions throughout. So that's another application of this app. We have been invested in a force plate. That force plate is lots of money, but it's also a testing tool, and we are going to communicate on growth and development of our athletes physically from the time that they join us to the time that they leave. That will allow us to do multiple checks on their current state of strength and power and performance at any moment in time, which allows us to, over time, be able to chart and communicate their growth as a result of their participation in natural development. And for those that wish, we'll have the ability to communicate to others about the potentials of athletes, or they can take this information and share those scores with other potential programs elsewhere. So ultimately, the whole idea of this app is to increase our level of communication and to chart growth over time. Also, this year we have been approached by many to really tap into the strengths of our coaches. Chris Beach is not only our mental performance coach, but he spent last summer running a skating development program for all our juniors and pros. He's got quite a passion for it, and this is not part of our regular programming, but Monday mornings right now we've got from 8 to 8:45. It's an a la carte experience for those of our participants that would like extra time with a special skills coach. That is something that we're including in our program, and Owen will be sending out a message about that in the next week or so. I think it starts next Monday. We'll only have, not this upcoming Monday, but 2 Mondays from now. We only have limited opportunity for certain athletes to partake in this. This is just part of our add on to our particular programming options in the spring. So just to continue on with what Ms. Friesen was speaking towards there about us being a 10-month program, players should not be leaving. The truth of it is that we're a 10-month development program. We have a competitive phase, we have a development phase. The development phase is really the opportunity to get the best opportunity to work on people's individual needs. We have skill development programs that happen in the spring. We've got an off-season development program in the strength that starts in the spring. And as important as their competition is, the development phase that follows our competitive phase is a very important offering of our program. So whenever possible, we strongly recommend that you finish what you started, that you finish your academic commitments and you take advantage of all our athletic offerings that we have for development. This particular space is just us trying to maximize the building. We're currently having to build new offices as GSL takes over some space that they had previously gifted us. We're going to continue to expand our imprint inside the building. This is going to be a very important part of what we do every day and all year long, is that we really do have access to lots of information that allows us to get the best out of the athletes on a day-to-day basis. And these practitioners, that's what they specialize in. They don't just specialize in getting better in 10 days as time takes its place. They have interventive strategies that allow athletes to return to play or return to play in a way that is safer, to ensure that their ongoing participation in the sport is not just safe but positive and successful. Spoke of this guy. This is Chris. If anybody hasn't introduced themselves to him, he's very approachable and going to be a key part of what Yogi offers with the U16 team, but part of our facility. And then last but not least, this is for the people at home and in the audience here. I know that we come to the rinks. I used to take my children to sporting activities and sit outside a slow pitch or a fast pitch dive there for 2 hours while they did their warm-up and whatnot. We are going to have opportunity for people to partake in some wellness activities for themselves. So lots of people have asked me over time, we get in to use the gym, we get in to use the gym. It's actually something Mike Pickles is going to join our program. So, before games on Saturdays or on Sundays, if there's something that you'd like to take advantage of, we'll be letting this information available to our population first. So we'll just be the kids getting better. I won't be coaching you guys.
It's my turn. I got to stand up here for far too long, sorry, I should have probably left and come back out. But for those who don't know me, my name is Elisa. I got introduced earlier, but I'm excited to be here as part of the DHA team. And I think one of the things that I bring to the table is my nutrition and wellness background. I've been a teacher here at South Delta for 15 years, teaching food studies. And I just happen to have a passion for hockey, and I played hockey, and 2 of my children played competitive hockey quite high up as well. And the joke was, Ian, I was always going to have a girls' team for my daughter, but she just didn't happen in time. She graduated before that happened. Anywho, I teach grade 8 and grade 9 here at the South Delta, so some of your kids may see my name twice on their schedule. And today we touched base on the brand new Canada Food Guide. I don't know if you knew, but a new one came out last year. So it's awesome. Not only did it change from the good old rainbow from the 1940s, but to mimic a plate similar to the US My Plate. Now it's a plate, and half of the plate is fruits and vegetables, a quarter is protein, and a quarter is grains. So we went over that today. And I think what's really important, and what I've been teaching the kids, or my preaching, is for each of the athletes to figure out their food code. And what I mean by that is I've been asking them, what foods do you eat that make you feel really good? eat more of those. And the foods that make you feel really crappy, eat less. I know that seems very basic, and I don't like it when they say, well, hamburger and french fries really makes me skate really well. Not long term. So I was asked to put together one slide. It turned into 4. So I'll try to just briefly go over them quickly. And if you have any questions, please come see me afterwards. And I look forward to seeing your grade 9 student all year, those that I have. And then the 8s I get to see for 14 classes. So they get a little bit of a taste anyway. So what I tell them is basically we all have furnaces at home. And your furnace is run by, most of us, gasoline. If we go and turn the gasoline off, that furnace stops working. Our bodies are the same way. And instead of the furnace, though, and we're our bodies, we fuel our bodies with food. And if we stop eating, it's just like the furnace, it stops working. So it's so critical for our athletes that they're eating properly and they're eating to their potential. So this slide basically is breakfast, and I'm a huge proponent of breakfast. And I get this saying, oh, Mrs. Glennon, I hate breakfast. I don't have time for breakfast. There's no food in the house, whatever it might be. If there's no meal more important, it's starting the day off with breakfast. So that might be in the form of liquid, honestly. So your athletes are getting to the rink early. So maybe if they're not prepared, maybe you can help them the night before, put something together so they can grab and go in the morning. That might be as simple as a smoothie. It might be, it's so easy to make an egg in the microwave for 60 seconds and put it on a piece of toast and out the door. But you want to try and get them to eat something before they're coming to the rink. The other thing, so that's 1 to 2 hours before exercise, if possible. For me, sometimes it's half an hour, but I kind of know my body. Post-workout. So you heard Jackie say they have 30 minutes built in now between when they get off the ice and to when they get into the classroom. And I don't know what the policy is about eating in the classroom per se, but it's also really important within the first 30 minutes to 60 minutes post-workout that they get in some carbohydrates, some more fuel, and some protein, lean protein, and hydrate. Hydrate. So they replenish everything, the electrolytes, the fluids, and again, the sugars that help fuel their muscles. So post-workout examples might be a boost. I'm kind of addicted to these lately, especially in our busy schedules. You might see these, they've been like what your grandma maybe drank in the old age. Well, they've come a long way. Don't mix them up. I have a dietitian friend who told me about this because I have a very picky eater in the house. And these are 27 grams of protein. Anyway, they're not cheap, but they're a quick fix. And only 10 grams of sugar, so it's not too bad. I think it's better. In the old days, they used to say chocolate milk. I think this is better, but it might be it is a little bit more expensive. Make sure you find the one that says protein plus, not just protein. So after workouts, fruit, whole wheat crackers, some cheese, some yogurt, nuts, seeds, and hydrate. Water. They like to say with the special Gatorades and so forth, if you can dilute it, 1-to-1 if possible. Okay, main meals, lunches, dinners. That's your time to prepare and to recover and get ready for the next day. And so it's so important that if you've got a competition coming up you've heard the term carbo loading. That might be a bit extreme, but it just means finding that meal and covering all of your plate, covering the whole food guide, getting in your whole grains, not just, try to get out of the habit of white pasta and white rice and try to get to whole grains. You can buy, my favorite is a Kamut, C-A-M-U-T pasta that you can buy. It's an ancient grain, it has more protein in it, so you don't get that kind of burst of energy and then crash, which white rice does as well. So things that sustain our energy long term is what you're looking for, and whole grains do that, and so does lean protein. So you want to combine the carbohydrates and the lean protein. And add vegetables as best you can, green kind and the orange kind. You can even blend them into your smoothie, which I know most of the grade 8s know me for. I sneak this, well, I don't sneak, I tell them I'm putting spinach in their smoothie, and they're like, oh, okay. You don't taste it, why not? So that's a great way to get some extra iron and calcium for our growing teenagers, because those are the two minerals that teens often lack. Snacks. Limit the sugary type and the high-fat snacks, and try again, I've mentioned them, smoothies. Oh, we talk a lot about when you're competing, and I had a scenario, I won't go into great detail, but my daughter's coach wouldn't let the team on the way to BC Games go to McDonald's for lunch, and that's where the bus, or for breakfast, and that's where the bus driver stopped. And I was a bit perplexed by that, because what ended up happening, unfortunately, was these kids then didn't eat from 4 in the morning, and I doubt most of them ate at 4, so go back to the night before till 2 o'clock that afternoon. It wasn't surprising to me a lot of them got sick. You need nutrients in whatever way, shape, form. So even places like McDonald's have alternatives. So we talk about that. There's fruit parfaits, there's the chicken snack wrap. I tell them just to buy the grilled one, not the breaded, deep fried one. There are, you can get a breakfast wrap without the cheese, because cheese isn't, we all know, isn't really cheese. So there are ways to find the nutrients when you need them. So definitely want to, hit Subway, Jugo Juice, Booster Juice. Those are all great places. Sushi is good. So just be aware of your options and make the right ones. Watch out for the sugary granola bars. I see a lot of them. There are better ones than others. Read the food label. If it has sugar as the first ingredient, it's probably not a good choice. And yeah, just at the bottom, again, talking about their personal food code. I'm really big on that and figuring out what makes them skate and perform at their best. Lastly, for me, before my hockey games, I joke with the kids, they all know what it is salmon and sauteed spinach. Don't know what it is, but when I have salmon and sauteed spinach, an hour, even 2 hours before my hockey games, I'm at my optimal. And that's what we ultimately want. If I'm in a tournament and I'm doing beer and nachos, I don't think I'm going to skate very well. I've learned, and I'm hoping that they learn gradually as well as they get older and through experience. Anyway, I'm here if you have any questions. I'm happy to help out. Thank you.
This isn't natural for me.
I prefer to talk like this. I'm just going to put that down. This is a lot of information. I know what it's like to have to sit and partake, and I appreciate the people that tuned in remotely. Tonight is really just part of us setting the tone for having a great year. I can tell you without question that these are good kids and they're motivated people and they come from good families. So we're just going to work together. We're going to take advantage of all the great people we have, and we're going to try to maximize the potentials of all the kids that are with us. So we know we've got problems with payment online. That was corrected tonight. Okay? We know that we've got some momentary challenges that happen. There'll be moments throughout the year where there's an accident on Highway 17. Well, the bus won't be there at the time it's supposed to be there. Those are uncontrollable factors. But we're going to survive that day. We'll take advantage and manage it the best we can for those moments that happen throughout the year. And that's what we do. We take what's coming, we prepare the best we can, and we take advantage of everything in the best way that we know how. This is not our program. This is yours, and it's yours because you care about your investment, and hopefully you care about everybody else's investment. And that's ultimately when we know we got a great place for people to come to. So when we're at the rinks, say hi. I'll have a tough time remembering everybody's name, but I never forget a face. So I know you're part of our program. I learned these kids, and I spend a lot of time with them, and so do our coaches. So that's the way we want to start the year off. If you have a question right now, something that you think is pertinent, others might be having, I'm more than willing to answer or point it in the direction where we get a question or answer for you.
Or you can come down and talk to anybody.
Okay, so people will just hang around here at the end and we can do it that way. Is that fine?